CloudCoin. And once again, the problem that CloudCoin addresses is it resolves the issue about a real retail currency. And why do I say that? Because the transactions can happen very, very rapidly. Now, I talked about India. I talked last week about Africa. I talked about billions of people that are unbanked or underbanked. They don't have a bank account. So how are they going to buy things? Well, one way they're going to buy things is they're going to have a cell phone, and they better have a currency where the transaction can happen instantly and quickly. Now, that's what the CloudCoin addresses. It handles fast transactions. And to prove my point, they've been working on upgrading the speed of the transaction ability of CloudCoin. And they just finished testing of their upgrades, and now they're up to 38,000 transactions a second. I want you to hear that again. They've now been testing, or what's called load testing, their software upgrade, and they now can do 38,000 transactions in a second. That's more transactions than Visa does a second. Now, that should be music to your ears. Once again, how can CloudCoin do that? Well, it's because they're not using blockchain, which basically slows down the transaction speed dramatically. Okay? They use an anti-counterfeiting solution, which basically is kind of like a passport. If I get you a coin, I send you a coin. From the point that I send the coin to you, they have well over 24 nodes, all of which are like passport officers. If you ever gone through an airport, you know what I'm talking about. They check your credentials. And if you have 25 of these things in a row, all checking the credentials, if any one of them says, then all of a sudden the transaction's rejected. So that's the and I gave a very simple description, by the way. It's far more sophisticated than that, but that gives you an idea what it does. So CloudCoin resolves an issue, which is probably the single biggest issue for currencies right now, which is the transaction speed. So why is that important? Because they just cut a deal with BitShares. And BitShares is what's best described as a decentralized exchange. BitShares is a decentralized exchange. So they are specifically looking out for many different types of currency solutions to put on their exchange, because they want to be able to trade every single imaginable currency. So that's when they got real excited about CloudCoin. So what's happening right now, and what's happening this very moment? Well, right now, CloudCoin has what's called a group that is putting together. Best describe it as a development kit. Excuse me. And what this kit does is it is software that they hand off to the exchange that allows for the trading of the CloudCoin on their exchange. It's a kit. It's a way for CloudCoin to be traded at BitShares. And you do what's called a development kit so that you can then hand off the adjustments for BitShares so they can begin trading CloudCoin. So CloudCoin is working on the developer kit, and I may not be using the exact language that's perfectly described, but it's pretty good. So that's what they're doing right this very moment. So I will be getting updates, every 3 to 4 days on what the progress is. Because if you all remember, we go to this giant show in July, the Freedom Fest, which is a huge, huge show where all these libertarians go. I mean, the number of speakers there are amazing. We got a huge booth. Kevin Harrington's going to be at our booth. Kevin Harrington, the original investor on Shark Tank, is going to be on the booth talking about CloudCoin and Celebrium. We're going to get press at the booth. So we have a number of things happening all at the same time. We have the Fox Business segments coming up shortly. I believe it's in the next 2 weeks. Then we have BitShares and the potential to have that up and operating. I hope it's up and operating by July, mid-July, but it's all down to developers. And then you have the big Freedom Fest, which is in July. I think it's the second week of July, if I'm not mistaken. So you have 3 huge events that are happening that all 3 can end up starting that sudden hockey stick rising quickly. Now, I announced also, since I've had a lot of people who have been waiting, kind of holding. They've gotten some coins, they've gotten some cloud coins, they've got a small amount of cloud coins, and they've been kind of waiting to hear about news in the future about exchanges, about what we're doing with the Freedom Fest. And there's quite a few people who did not partake in the recent offerings, the special offers that we've done over the last 3 months. So what I'm going to do just for the next 7 days is I have a small amount of coins, roughly 1 million, that I'm going to make available at the original price that I offered to the Bruce Wiseman investors and his newsletter people. The original thing that we did way back when, I'm going to do that for the next 7 days for that limited number of coins, just for those people. I have a lot of people who are kind of holding off on taking advantage of any specials because they kind of wanted to see what was going on with exchanges, and they're kind of doing a little bit of sitting back and looking and waiting. So for you folks, this is open to everybody, but in particular for you folks that weren't able or didn't want to until they heard a little bit more news, a little bit more progress on exchanges, I'm going to open that up. So the way I have a quick instructional email on what to do, but if you're interested in the special, we're going to call that the quick 7-day special. It's going to start today. It's going to end next Friday, and it's limited to just 1 million coins. That's it, and that usually gets eaten up pretty fast. I'm going to provide the price that we did way back when to the Bruce Wiseman newsletter guys and the folks getting his newsletter. So email me at bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com, bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com if you want to get in on that. And I'll have a quick little instruction email. It's very simple if you want to do something there. So once again, just email me at bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com and put the subject line quick special. Okay. And that really is due to the fact that I had many people who kind of held off a little bit because they wanted to kind of find out what's the progress on exchanges, what's the progress on the Freedom Fest, what are you doing on PR? So that's cool. I have no problem with that. So for those folks, and any folks can get involved with this, but particularly I'm looking for those folks that sat back a little bit.